It's over!
He's done it again! Unbelievable!
Oh, straight into the roof of the net.
Nice one.
Straight down the middle. So a good performance from both.
Hi, welcome to Firstpost. I'm Rupha Ramani. Let's get started. Hello and welcome to the start of yet another week here on Firstpost with me. And I have to say there is a theme to the show today. It's players under stress, facing all sorts of setback. From being attacked on the football pitch for winning a match to living in fear of their careers being destroyed. And then, of course, the fear of failure itself. We've got you covered. Violence in the Turkish Football League again. Why did football players get attacked and what followed? Pakistan cricketer reveals that every senior player in the squad lives in fear. Is there a toxic system in Pakistan cricket? And has Carlos Alcaraz banished his demons with the Indian Wells win? Lots on the show, but first, Sports 360. In tennis women's world number one, Iga Swiatek won her second Indian Wells title in a repeat of the 2022 final. She crushed Maria Sakkari 6-4, 6-1 in straight sets. This is Swiatek's 8th WTA Thousands Masters win and second title of 2024. Staying with women superstars, Royal Challengers Bengaluru, the RCB won their first Women's Premier League title. They defeated Delhi Capitals yesterday by 8 wickets in the final. Delhi were bowled out for 113 in the 19th over. RCB pacer Shreyanka Patil and Elisa Perry stole the show. In fact, the two also were the top wicket taker and run scorers in the tournament. Over in news from the Indian Premier League or the IPL, India's Shreyas Iyer has been declared fit to play the league. Iyer, who captains the Kolkata franchise, was advised against lunging too much while playing. He has been dealing with recurrent back spasms. Iyer was forced to sit out of the last 2 days of the domestic tournament, Ranji Trophy, final for the same reason. Over in football, Manchester United beat Liverpool 4-3 in a thriller of an FA Cup quarter-final. The match was tied at 2-2 at the end of regulation time and then moved into extra time. Liverpool were on the verge of winning after a stoppage time goal by Harvey Elliott, but then United levelled through Marcus Rashford before Amad Diallo scored the final goal for the Red Devils. Over in Formula One, according to reports, the female employee who accused Red Bull team principal Christian Horner of misconduct has filed an official complaint to Formula One's governing body, FIA. Horner was cleared of wrongdoing by an internal investigation carried out by Red Bull. Red Bull then suspended the employee who's at the centre of the allegations. And India's Srinagar hosted its maiden Formula 4 race on March 17. Professional drivers dazzled spectators with their stunts. A car and bike show was also held after the event. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in a social media post, appreciated the efforts of the organisers to host a one-of-a-kind, first-of-a-kind motorsport event in the country. Now, what happens when you are a senior player in a team sport and you get injured, forced to miss an entire tournament? A replacement is named. The show must go on, of course. But what if the replacement does something brilliant? Is your place in the team in jeopardy? And has he or she taken your spot? Is your place as a senior a given to be taken back when you do return? A lot of the answers to those questions reflects the team culture. How transparent is the sporting system and how solid is the foundation? Well, the reason I'm bringing this up today is because of an explosive statement that Pakistan cricketer Naseem Shah has made recently to a mobile app network, Crickwick. So Naseem Shah, if you remember, was supposed to be one of the key bowlers for Pakistan for the World Cup last year. He sustained a shoulder injury that forced him out of the tournament and then the tours afterwards against New Zealand and Australia as well. Now, he's had a surgery and got back to competitive cricket with the PSL or the Pakistan Super League, and he made this statement yesterday.
Honestly, the main players are afraid of giving their bodies rest, even when they know that they need a break, because the Pakistan cricket culture is such that if a new player comes in and performs in a match or two, you don't know if he will replace you permanently in the team.
That is a very scathing remark on not just Pakistan cricket but the entire system itself. He's basically saying that there is no sense of security in the system. There is no assurance, no faith, Players play on faith. You can only get the best out of your team if you give them the confidence that they belong here, that they will not be discarded, that there will be transparency, that the interest of the player and his or her betterment is paramount. Naseem Shah is a key bowler for Pakistan. His statement right after his comeback from injury has sparked controversy. He also says that there is fear that if the players are allowed to rest, their careers will be over. In fact, he says this fear does not allow players to rest because they could be ended. Their careers could be derailed. That's what he says. Playing in fear can never get you good results, especially when it's the fear of not being selected come the next tour or the next tournament. This, of course, comes in the wake of reports suggesting unrest in the Pakistan dressing room. Now, I'm not going to go into the details of this as we've chronicled all this well enough for you. But just to reiterate this discord or the system of fear that players could be living in, I'd like to remind you of some of the instances in the recent past that only re-emphasizes what Naseem Shah is revealing now. After all these years, Haris Rauf, their premier fast bowler, a senior in the setup, again a key member in their scheme of things, Haris Rauf has had a very acrimonious relationship with the management. There's clearly been a breakdown in talks. He's allowed to play the Big Bash League in Australia some time back, and then just suddenly, after a hearing that seemed like mere formality, his contract was terminated. Now, it's fine to discipline and bring order to get the disobedient student in line. But the events that unfolded clearly showed a lack of communication and clarity between the player and the board or the management. The matter could have been handled differently in a way that really didn't mean that Haris Rauf would have to play in fear thereafter, or worse, push his body just to retain his place in the squad, in the team more specifically. That is what Naseem Shah is referring to here. In fact, he says he himself realized as much because when he went for surgery, the tear in his shoulder was a troubling 4 to 5 centimeters wide. Babar Azam, Pakistan's premier batter and the captain who took the team to world #1 ranking last year, was sacked after a poor showing at the World Cup. Not just him, everybody at the helm at the top were asked to leave. Now, we understand an overhaul if there is a vision and a thought process that follows it. But what happened next was a stopgap replacement in Mohammad Hafiz, the former cricketer. He rubbed all players the wrong way and was also sacked. Reports have emerged that former Aussie all-rounder and World Cup winner Shane Watson, as well as West Indies all-rounder Darren Sammy, a captain himself, have turned down offers from the PCB, the Pakistan Cricket Board, to take up a coaching gig with the Pakistan cricket team. Some reports quoting sources in the PCB say that Watson had almost agreed and had come on board. The finances were discussed and it was just a matter of signing across the dotted line. But then, once the financial details got leaked to the media all over, Watson suddenly made a U-turn and cited commentary commitments and refused the offer. I guess this kind of transparency is not what he was hoping for. But even so, what could be preventing them from taking up an offer from the PCB? My understanding, any volatile situation is bound to explode one way or another. A sense of impatience and history of unrest cannot be invitations for the best to come on board. And here's the scary part. The team is heading into the World Cup in just 3 months and they don't have a coach. Reports also say that they are looking for an interim Pakistan coach till they get a foreign one on board. That's what the PCB definitely wants. And in this regard, former cricketers, captains like Inzamam-ul Haq, yes, the very same who was sacked from the position of chief selector just some time back, Moin Khan, Mohammad Yusuf and Yunus Khan, all former captains, are being considered. In a different light, this resembles a comedy of errors. But when a player comes out and makes such shocking statements, that reflects poorly on the whole cricketing system itself. Then, of course, there are hard questions that people running the sport in the country need to answer and face. Now, fans of all sporting disciplines have a lot of heart. You have to bear the pain of your favorites losing or to celebrate the wins with most excitement, to express anger at some of the worst decisions some of them take on the field. You, the fans, are couch coaches and cheerleaders, all rolled into one. This is how fans largely are, but not football fans. They will go that extra yard. They are different. It's not just passion that drives them, it's obsession. And then, of course, there's a thin line, as we know, between the two, which football fans don't really differentiate in particular. Their obsession for their respective teams, the ones they support, can turn ugly. Something happened that sort of justifies this, and it transpired in the Turkish Football League. Yes, the very same league where this happened, the unsuspecting referee being punched by the president of one of the clubs. Now this time though, the drama unfolded during a Super League game between home side Trabzonspor and visiting side Fenerbahce. The match ended in a 3-2 victory for the visitors. Brazilian midfielder Fred scored twice to seal the win, and that meant Fenerbahce are just 2 points behind league leaders Galatasaray. Needless to say, Fenerbahce were ecstatic and started celebrating on the field. Well, nothing wrong in that. Any sport means one winner and one loser, and the winner will rejoice. After the final whistle, the players started celebrating, possibly hugging each other, running around the field. But I guess it didn't really go down too well with the Trabzonspor supporters. A fan ran onto the field and fought with Fenerbahce defender bright Osayi-Samuel. That's right, a fan decided to show his displeasure by heading straight to the players. Samuel was forced to fight back, and it was not pretty. In a video going viral, Samuel could be seen raining down punches on the fan, who also was attacking him. With the situation getting out of hand, other Fenerbahce players came to Samuel's rescue. From that point on, it was manic, and the situation only got more chaotic and scary. Other fans then rained upon the pitch, invaded the pitch, and one of them in particular directly went to Fenerbahce forward Michy Batshuayi. Batshuayi then launched a series of kicks in response, but this wasn't all. Horrifyingly, one of the supporters even fashioned a weapon to attack the players. The fan attempted to use the corner flag as a weapon, and if the security forces hadn't intervened just then, who knows, the matter could have become quite worse. Security personnel eventually helped Fenerbahce players, and they had to be escorted down the tunnel into their dressing room. Fenerbahce head coach Ismail Kartal said his players had not provoked the fans, and the Trabzonspor coach Abdullah Avci said the events that unfolded were rather upsetting nevertheless. The incident created a massive uproar on social media. Even the Interior Minister Ali Yerikala reflected on the matter.
After the Trabzonspor-Fenerbahce football match played this evening, identification efforts regarding the spectators entering the field and an investigation into the events that took place after the match were immediately launched. Sports is, above all, sportsmanship. It is never acceptable for violence to occur on football fields. The public will be informed about the developments.
Talks of maintaining sportsmanship is all good, but the images that really came out were disturbing. Fans attacking players, scuffled right there on the pitch, and security having to jump in and try and escort the players to safety from all the violence. The shocking episode has caught the eye of FIFA president Gianni Infantino.
The violence witnessed after the Turkish Super League match between Trabzonspor and Fenerbahce is absolutely unacceptable, on or off the field. It has no place in our society. I have said it before and I will say it again. Without exception, in football, all players have to be safe and secure to play the game, which brings such joy to so many people all over the world. I call on the relevant authorities to ensure that this is respected at all levels, and for the perpetrators of the shocking events in Trabzon to be held accountable for their actions.
The matter is serious, and it isn't the first controversy that's hit the Turkish League this season. In December, that's just some months ago, another club, Ankara Gucu president Faruk Koka, physically attacked a referee. We spoke about this briefly at the start. The incident occurred in the aftermath of his side's draw with Rizespor. The attack was so brutal that the referee, Halil Umut Mila, had to spend more than a week in the hospital. And following the attack, of course, all league games were suspended as punishment for a week. Remember, the Turkey president, Recep Erdogan, had also made a statement when the referee incident had taken place. Well, a former footballer himself, it's understandable this game is close to his heart. But it's not just these isolated violent events. There have been many disturbances, protests and arguments, and also pertaining to refereeing decisions throughout the season. So it feels like there is no one heeding the law or those making it. There is general chaos, discord between players, teams and management in this league, at least in this year. And the latest, this episode of violence between fans and players, has further dented the league's reputation. I get that fans want their side to win always, but that's not how sport works, right? There needs to be a line, and if strict action isn't taken, then there is no guarantee that something of this nature will not happen again, and not worse either. Now, Carlos Alcaraz, world number 2, he shot to prominence by beating Novak Djokovic to win a Grand Slam title. Now, he has 2 Grand Slam titles to his name till date, but the last 8 months, contrastingly, was no indication of the super talent that Carlos Alcaraz is touted to be. No appearance in a final and no trophies to show either. Last night, Alcaraz beat Russia's Daniil Medvedev 7-6, 6-1 in the Indian Masters World ATP final. How has he managed to come back strong despite a long lull and injury concerns? And is this the start of an upswing for the Spaniard this year? Early success, comparison with legends to setbacks and a trophy drought. It's been a rollercoaster ride for the young Carlos Alcaraz. The Spaniard who won the US Open in 2022 and followed that up with Wimbledon in 2023 was touted for greater things. And to think that he's facing all of this in his teenage years. And just when he thought things were all smooth, came a blip in his career path. From early exits in tournaments to injury concerns, a slump in his career trajectory followed the success. But the youngster has managed to turn things around at the Indian Wells. Alcaraz beat Daniil Medvedev in straight sets to win the title, and he also ended up coming from behind to beat Jannik Sinner in the semi-finals. With this win, Alcaraz also emulated Rafael Nadal and Novak Djokovic's achievements. Alcaraz successfully defended his title, and by doing so, he became the first man in 8 years to defend the Indian Wells title. The last person to do this was Novak Djokovic. Djokovic won the title for 3 straight years in 2014, 15 and 16. Alcaraz is only the 7th player in the history of the tournament to defend the title. So a very special win this. And what a way to end the trophy drought. Not surprising that post the win, Alcaraz emotionally described his journey to this redemption of sorts.
It's difficult to put into words because I had really difficult months. Let's say the last 2 months was difficult for me to find myself. I didn't enjoy stepping on the court. I wasn't myself on the court the last 2 months, 3 months. It means a lot to me lifting this trophy, winning this tournament, because I overcome a lot of problems in my head, a lot of problems physically.
The last year has definitely taken a toll on him. You can sense that. And the comparisons don't help. Sure, the script is too good to be true, like what came with this win. This was Alcaraz's 5th 1000 Masters title before turning 21. Only Rafael Nadal, with 9 of the 1000 Masters titles before turning 21, has more than him. So yes, while the comparisons are justified at some level, it just puts that added pressure on the youngster, and understandably so. Last year was an aberration to the way he started his career. There seemed to be a lack of teeth in his encounters. So his shocking admission of being lost and not being able to find his feet and enjoy the game is no surprise. The pressure clearly got to him. And this win was just another reminder that Carlos Alcaraz belongs here.
For me, it doesn't matter. It's about the feelings. For me, if I win tournaments or not, I don't care. It's about enjoying playing tennis. Once I step on the court, putting my game. It's what only matters. That's why I'm really, really happy to lift this trophy. Because I found myself at this tournament and I felt really, really good.
What makes Alcaraz's win even more special is the fact that he beat some of the top guns. Apart from Daniil Medvedev and Jannik Sinner, like we mentioned, Carlos Alcaraz also beat Alexander Zverev en route to the title. He ended Sinner's 16-match unbeaten run in 2024. Winning is easy once you've reached a certain level in any sport. But it's the journey right after that, to stay consistent, that really is the challenging part. And Alcaraz's win here at the Indian Wells is sure to create a shift in momentum for the Spaniard, opening up the contest to be all the more fierce in 2024. Time for last serve. The Indian Premier League, or the IPL, is almost here, and one man has dominated all conversations in the lead-up. It's not MS Dhoni this time, at least not just yet. Hardik Pandya held his very first press conference as Mumbai Indians captain. And of course, he spoke on Rohit Sharma, his predecessor, his own captaincy, the injury layoff, and more.
As you mentioned, it is back where everything started. Very, very grateful to be back here, and at the same point of time playing for my favorite team. He's gonna be always there to help me out if I need his help. Yeah, I know he's gonna have a hand on my shoulder always throughout the season. We respect fans, everything, but at the same point of time, we focus on the sport. They have every right. Never thought 10 years down the line I'll be leading this side. My injury in World Cup was a freak injury. I mean, it had nothing to do with my past injuries. It had nothing to do with my fitness.
And of course, we will be following IPL very, very closely. You'll catch all coverage, the analysis, the previews and everything, the buzz around the Indian Premier League right here on Firstpost in our coverage T20 Summer Storm. But till then, thanks for watching. I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.